So, ladies and gentlemen, for anybody who might not have heard, I can't imagine who couldn't have heard by this point, but the UFC does now have a new featherweight champion of the world, and it looks a lot like the old featherweight champion of the world, because it is, in fact, the old featherweight champion of the world, Alex Volkanovski. He managed to get the championship back, actually by beating Diego Lopez. Not Diego Lopez. Diego Lopez. Oh, God, for about 2 seconds I was thinking about Diego Sanchez. There are not going to be very many edits in the podcast this week because I don't have great access to the means to edit this. So congratulations, folks. You get to witness this podcast, the recording of this, with most of its warts. Unless something crazy happens, like another gust of wind blows over the camera like it's trying to just now, like it did actually during the last segment. I guess I'll make an exception for that and make an edit later, but for the most part, you guys are going to get it with all of the blemishes this week. I hope you enjoy that. I hope you enjoy a spotty, patchy, cough-filled podcast, because that's what it's going to be this week. So, Alexander Volkanovski back on top of the featherweight division. Almost strictly, well, I would say pretty much strictly, because the former champion, Ilia Topuria, has completely left the division. He wants to move on to the lightweight division and become the lightweight champion of the world. Now, I don't believe that he has a lightweight championship match booked right now. I believe that the lightweight champion of the world, Islam Makhachev, does have a different dance partner, which doesn't come to mind right now. I feel like I should just know that. Regardless, Ilia has moved on, and he's going to challenge for the light heavyweight for the lightweight championship at some point. And I imagine that must make Islam Makhachev pretty happy, because he does seem to love fighting featherweights. Seems to be his favorite thing to do. I think at this juncture, he might actually still have as many championship defenses against featherweight fighters as he does against lightweight fighters. Which, to me, I think that we all liked the idea of what Khabib Nurmagomedov was as the champion. But I kind of feel like we're starting to see that these guys they do like to protect themselves. You know, these Dagestanis, they're great fighters, but they do seem to like to protect themselves once they get to the top. But regardless, it's actually not what I'm trying to talk about today. I'm actually trying to talk about Ilia Topuria. And the biggest difference between what he has done and what Alexander Volkanovski did is, I think, what actually is the thing that I like the most about anything that he's doing, is that Ilia Topuria has kind of burned the boats. Like, he's burned his boat. Like, he's not leaving himself with a featherweight championship of the world to go back to if his bid to become the lightweight champion falls flat. You know, he's going to be kind of stuck with whatever he's left with at the end of it. He's going to be stuck empty-handed. He's going to be left empty-handed. And I can't help but wonder if Alexander Volkanovski's decision to not do something like that maybe might have been a pretty big influence on the result that he was ultimately left with at the end of that whole thing. It's a very different situation to go and challenge for another championship when you know that you're already at the top of another division. That's not going to be changed by the result of that fight. You know, it's a very different situation to walk into a championship fight like that, knowing that it's like either you win that or you're going to go to the back of the line. I think that it's another thing entirely to know that you're not just going to go back to the top of the mountain in another division. You're going to go to the back of the line, and you're going to have to fight your way back into contention again. Like, you have really definitely put it much more into your head. Now you're you're not even going to keep what you have. You're only going to get to eat what you kill at that point. And I think that for Ilia Topuria, that actually may make a tremendous difference in terms of what he's trying to accomplish compared to the way that Alexander Volkanovski went about the way that he was trying to do things. Don't get me wrong. I don't really want to sit here and say a whole bunch of negative things about Alexander Volkanovski. I actually do like Alexander Volkanovski quite a bit. I think that he was still kind of trying to bite off more than he could chew when he was talking about having, quote unquote, super fight with George St. Pierre. Great record at featherweight until he started to lose fights. But I wouldn't call him the kind of guy that should be that George St. Pierre should be coming back to try to fight. And I mean, like the old man Volk bit. Like, how could you not love that? Just such a classic. For a guy with the kind of a championship pedigree that he has proven to have as an MMA fighter, for a guy to be that self-effacing, that he can bear to make fun of himself like that, that's going to ingratiate a guy to a lot of people, and it definitely did for me. But I do kind of think to myself that, you know what, like he did make a mistake, not just going all in at lightweight. And if he had done that, maybe he would have gotten more of the result that he wanted. Now, I do understand that he didn't just want to be a guy who was the featherweight champion and then became the lightweight champion. He wanted to be a champ. He wanted to be like a double champ. He wanted to have 2 belts, the way that Conor McGregor did. But if you take a look at the way that worked out for Conor McGregor, it doesn't really seem like a lot of those guys that do that, who go the double champ route, doesn't really feel like too many of those guys actually continue in that vein very successfully. Daniel Cormier didn't either. I mean, Daniel Cormier, he was the light heavyweight champion and the heavyweight champion, and then pretty much, I wouldn't say skunked out, because he continued to have what I think was pretty good fights. But God, did Daniel Cormier actually win any fights after he ascended and became the heavyweight champion, as well as the light heavyweight champion? Trying to fight in 2 different divisions, it really does take it out of a guy. And I kind of get the sense that Ilia Topuria does understand that. It's probably got no small, no small amount to do with the decision that he's made to do this the way that he's chosen to do it. But even beyond that, just nothing more to hold on to, nothing to lose, everything to gain. I think that's, it takes big balls to do that. To just give away that thing that you had to lose, and then just go get the other thing. Give away the one thing that you had to lose, and then go get something. That's a ballsy move. I think that regardless of whatever the outcome of his quest at lightweight is, I think the people are going to have to, this sport will have to respect Ilia Topuria.